New York Restaurant Week. Twice a year, 300 plus restaurants, all varieties, Michelin restaurants, 26 lunch, 42 dinner. Let's go. What goes into your mind when it comes to Indian food? I love Indian food. I had a countless time in different places. In New York, in Cali, in London, in Dubai. So I have a fairly good understanding of what Indian food is like. Unsurprisingly, you can find a lot of good Indian restaurants in New York, including one Michelin-starred Indian restaurant. Yes, you heard that right. A Michelin-starred Indian restaurant. While I had a lot of Indian food over the years, I'm fairly curious to find out what a Michelin-starred Indian restaurant will offer when I first heard of it. So, let's get to it. Not far away from the Flatiron Building, we have Junoon, a Michelin one-star restaurant ran by a famous Indian chef named Tikka, serving contemporary version of Indian food. I first visited Junoon almost exactly a year ago, not during the restaurant week. Junoon is an Urdu word meaning passion but also frequently used in Hindi as well. Once entered, in a small waiting room, we are greeted with an impressive array of Michelin signs awarded over the years. The dining room was dark, very dark. I had the tasting menu for my first visit, and it was eye-opening. These dishes took inspiration across India and sometimes with very interesting ingredients, like this lotus root salad, or this jackfruit chat, or this keema pao with chicken stuffed inside. Junoon managed to serve Indian food with a modern twist in a multi-course fine dining format on par with that of French fine dining. Just look at the size of the food and the size of the plate. Am I right? All in all, it was good. Junoon left me with a good first impression. Then, a few months later, the restaurant week began. I was excited to know Junoon will participate in the restaurant week because I can get to experience the modern twist again. Having dined there before, I know the quality could be expected. Second visit. This time we sat in the Patiala room, which is ideal because it was slightly brighter than the main dining room. For the restaurant week, we had the 3-course dinner. First course, ghost chili Murgh Tikka, chicken thigh in spicy spice mixture with ghost chili. Why the name ghost chili? Because you can't see the chili itself, but the dish was acclaimed to be very spicy. And they were right. The chicken was very tender and spicy. The first bite you only felt mildly spicy, but the spiciness built up as you progressed. It's like a very spicy version of chicken tikka masala, but without the curry. Kadak Seekh Kebab, with a modern interpretation. Instead of meat on a skewer, we had minced lamb wrapped in panko breadcrumb and fried, almost like a tiny meat-filled pastry. It had a curry flavor from the spice. The crust is crispy, with peppery puree to taste. It had a nice presentation. Main course. We have Murgh Lababdar and pork belly, both served with rice and naan. Murgh Lababdar, basically tandoori grilled chicken in tomato curry sauce, paired with a naan like a wrap. Chicken was very tender, curry was sweet and tomatoey, not spicy at all. Pork belly with palm leaves. The belly was so soft that it fell apart on its own weight. Belly fat melted in your mouth with peppery taste. However, it was not spicy. The dish so far had been good, but I had to point out that the service wasn't always on point, especially when it came to the availability of the staff. We had to ask more than 3 times to get our extra naan. At least the naan was freshly baked, which was a plus, but the long wait time let me think of their kitchen was running over its capacity. Dessert time. We had not 2, but 3 desserts. Why? Apparently, my complaint about the long wait time turned out to be a concern of the managers. So, in order to pacify us, he offered us a free dessert, which was off the menu and, in my opinion, better than those 2 options on the menu. This is a faluda, but with Junoon's interpretation. Faluda is traditionally an Iranian dessert consisting of tiny vermicelli-sized noodles soaked in semi-frozen sweet rose water. It's a refreshing dessert especially popular during the summer. The manager was impressed by my knowledge on lesser-known food and my skill to remember strange names. In this version, it was not rose water but melted ice cream encased in a chocolate shell. Break it open and let the liquid run over the vermicelli. This now becomes a subtle sweet ice cream mix. Let's get to the other desserts. We had rice pudding and coffee pops. Rice pudding with crispy puff rice on top along with some almonds. The rice pudding had a slightly sweet rice flavor with cinnamon as a second layer of flavor. It turned out to be a good mixture. Coffee pops, which happened to be a 4 ice cream of different flavors. I tried only one of them, tasted like subtle sweet pineapple. That concluded the meal. My impression after the second visit: the food was still as good. I especially liked the appetizers. The service wasn't as on point, but the free dessert more than compensated. It was of good value during the restaurant week. Then, half a year later, into the 2020, I heard bad news from Junoon. It had been stripped of its Michelin star and now its ranking was only a plate. I did hear about things like decreasing quality and service, which I already got a feeling during my last visit, but I didn't expect it to lose a star. Then here came the winter restaurant week of 2020. One of my friends invited me out to eat at Junoon once again. I thought, okay, I've already been there twice and now with the third time I should be able to have a complete set of verdict of Junoon all the way to it losing its star. You already know the drill. Let's skip straight to food. Appetizers. I got basil chicken tikka. From the look of it, it still had a nice presentation, but the portion seemed to have shrank somewhat. The chicken was very tender and moist, seasoned with a flavorful spice mixture of primarily basil flavor paired with a silky puree. I would say the appetizer, while being a bit smaller in portion, was still on par in quality.
So for the main course here, we have chicken curry and monkfish curry with rice. It's kind of interesting because monkfish isn't something that they really use in Indian cuisine, but they have it anyway because it's an upscale restaurant. And we have some naan here, freshly baked. Oh, you can smell the butter and garlic flavor in it. Very flavorful. So let me just look at that. It's a pretty big piece. Oh, the sauce is pretty spicy and also like a little bit aromatic. You can taste a little bit maybe like thyme, bay leaves, and some other ingredients. Whoa, this monkfish is so very soft. It's soft and flaky, but firmer than some of the flounders that you find. It's a very interesting texture. It kind of falls apart in the mouth, but it's firm enough that it has a feel to your tongue. And that curry is also very good.
The wait time before dessert had been arduously long, so long that I even bothered to check their open kitchen once. People were working at full capacity, but still are barely catching up. Looked overwhelming to me. I can already start to see why it lost its star, but let's continue. Finally, we had our dessert. I got a pistachio mousse cake and my friend got coffee pop, same as last year. I was offered one ice cream of unspecified flavor to try out.
So dessert time, we have coffee pop of 4 different flavors. My friend has that, and I have the pistachio mousse cake. I'm not sure what this flavor is, but they asked me to try this because it's kind of strange, so I'm gonna give it a try. Is that like bay leaves? I mean, I don't know. This is kind of spicy. This is like a spicy. I thought it was pistachio or mint. No, it's not. It's. Maybe like bay leaf or thyme. It's very pungent in terms of the taste. Yeah, the spiced ice cream. Let me try this one real quick. You guys, it's like a pistachio. Let's get with a little bit of sorbet and pistachio here. This is vanilla ice cream with the pistachio. There are different layers. Pistachio is good though. Even there's a vanilla ice cream and then the pistachio flavor is so strong and kind of not overpowering, but it just stands out, you know? Oh, the mousse is so very soft. Soft and creamy, has a good amount of pistachio flavor, mild.
Turned out my friend had a more traditional appetite and cannot handle things like cardamom ice cream. I would say I'm okay with it. It was an interesting flavor, but that might not be everyone's take. So here we had all 3 visits to Junoon. My thought? While the food was still considered fairly good, there was a noticeable decrease in the quality of the food and the service over the year. After all, it became a different story when they bear the title of coming off from a Michelin restaurant and got charged a Michelin price. The lack of prompt service can also be a big problem. They seem to be understaffed in front of the big crowd they draw in following its fame. Looks like a Michelin star title can also be a double-edged sword. Now they're without it, maybe it's time for they to think and improve their overall quality, as there are other Indian restaurants I have tried with the overall experience as good, if not better, while it's without a star and had far more choices and friendlier prices. My final verdict for Junoon. I still consider it to be a high-end Indian restaurant offering interesting food and sometimes innovative ideas, but there are definitely rooms for improvement. Shall you want to go or not is up to you. and this video, in hope, can help you make that decision. The search for restaurants continues.